Today on the ballot and the bullet, the Canik Tp9 SC Elite. Let's get it. Is it recording? I'm sorry. Just having a little fun, banging that Jada. You know what I mean? Listen, right at you with our first firearm review. Welcome to the ballot and the bullet. The ballot and the bullet. Yes, today in 2022, the ballot and the bullet is still relevant. So again, on this channel, we talk everything practical, right? Your practical politics, your practical protection. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, tell your friends, your family, your co-workers. Let's get busy. So on deck for today, the Canik Tp9 SC Elite, my EDC. So I've had the Canik Elite TPC now for about 2 years, and it's been my EDC for about that same period of time. So back in early 2019, I wanted to change direction from the EDC that I was carrying, which was a Taurus G2C, and I also had an M&P shield that I would carry. The G2C was great in terms of the size, right? But it was not as sexy, and the trigger was terrible. In terms of the M&P shield, 8 rounds, right? 10 with the extension. So for me, I wanted to be at 15 plus, and so it was time to go and investigate a new EDC. So I went down to the local gun store. We got a couple in our area in Philadelphia, so I went to the gun store and looked through what they had in the case. Asked the gun representative, the gun store rep, for his recommendations at the time. I hadn't done a ton of research at the time. This was early when I wanted to become more educated in firearms, and so my deep dive began as I began to learn about the Tp9 SC Elite after the purchase. So I'm at the gun store and we go through, I don't know how many handguns on that particular day, but what I remember is that it was narrowed down to these 3 firearms. The SIG P320 compact, and the Glock 19, and the Canik, right? And so maybe one day, I'll do a review on the 3 of those. I'm sure there's plenty of reviews on the Glock 19 versus the SIG P320, and then maybe even some Glock versus Canik reviews already out there. But I had these 3 firearms in front of me, and I had to do an evaluation right within this half an hour to try to make a solid purchase in terms of what new firearm I wanted to use in terms of self-protection. And so the Glock 19, everyone's familiar with, right? It's a Glock 19. It's a brick, right? It works. It's the highest selling gun out there. And before I go any further, let me just start my review and talking about my EDC with this statement, right? I'm not a professional gunsmith. I'm not a gun expert. I am your regular average guy. I'm not ex-military. I'm not a gun nut per se, even though I have a love of firearms. And I don't get a hard on when people say 2A. I'm just a normal guy, right? Just a normal guy. So when I began to look at these firearms, again, the Glock, the highest selling firearm in the world, it was what it was, right? I wasn't impressed by it, but I was aware of its reputation per se, right? The SIG P320, again, reputation. It felt better in hand, and we'll talk about that later when we're doing a review on the SIG P320. Felt better in hand. I felt like it had better sights than the Glock as well, and so, but it costs more, right? I think the Glock at the time was maybe 600. Don't hold me to that. And that the SIG was in the 750 range, maybe 800. And so, you know, you had to make an evaluation, right? In terms of, you know, what do they look like? What do they feel like? What does the trigger pull feel like while you're in the store? And again, this is all in my let's call it my freshman phase of learning the firearm. And so, with, again, very elementary information at the time, all I had was the information that was in front of me. And what I had in front of me was cost, feel, and look, right? And the Canik came in about $400, won the cost. The feel, it was better than the Glock, on par with the SIG. And third was how sexy it was in comparison, right? So the SIG was an all-black SIG P320. The Glock, I believe, was all black as well. I am aware that they come in various different models and colors. At the gun store at the time, that was what was available. However, what stood out was the Canik Tp9, right? It had a red inner shoe on the trigger, and it had a tungsten slide, and it just stood out. And so it became my new EDC. Plain and simple story, right? And so ever since then, I've been impressed with how the gun has performed, and as a result of it, I became a Canik lover. I have the Canik Mate, however you want to pronounce it, and I'm probably gonna be getting the Canik Rival sometime in the first quarter, maybe second quarter of this year. The Mate's trigger, all of the controls, the slide, the frame, just an incredible engineering that went into that firearm. And so we'll do a review of that coming soon. All right, let's get into my EDC, the Canik Tp9 SC Elite. So as we jump into this, the weapon is clear. You see that there's nothing here. Go ahead, drop the mag. So again, I don't have any upgrades per se to this weapon, because the slide, the sights, the trigger, for me, everything out of the box for $400 was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Size small and a size large. On those back straps, what you'll see is at the very edge here, when you go to get a good purchase grip on the gun, on the firearm, you can't really see it that well, but what happens is that sharp edge kind of digs into your palm. And so what this back strap allows for is it gives you a little bit further. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch longer, and then it gives you a rounded surface here, and it feels really comfortable. Now, the downside of it is that while it's pretty and while you can see the texture, it doesn't feel, it's a little slippery. It doesn't feel gritty, like you're getting a good purchase. Like it slides around in your hand with that base plate. And so what a lot of people wind up doing, and what I'll have is a piece of tape here, traction tape, grip tape, so that once the grip is in the hand, that it's not gonna move much. So right out of the box, again, it comes with 2 magazines. You're gonna get a 12 round mag, and you're gonna get a 15 round extended magazine. What you see here is the base 12 magazine with a Taylor Freelance +3 extension plate. And so 12 + 3, 15 rounds. So also on the frame you're gonna have texture here. I would give this texture maybe a 6 out of 10. It could be a little bit more aggressive. The texture in the front here, I would give 6.5, 7. Again, it could be a little bit more aggressive. What I do like is this undercut. I don't know if you can see that there. But this undercut allows you to get your finger up under, on your dominant hand, up under that trigger guard nicely, so that you can get a pretty tight, again, high purchase up under that trigger guard. I like that. Mag release out of the box on the right hand side, and for the 5% of the earth that's left-handed, it is reversible, so you have a reversible mag catch. Alrighty, at the top of the frame, you have a slide lock / slide release. It is metal, and it's a decent size. And ambi, right? So you're gonna have that on both sides. I do like the takedown lever on this particular weapon. It gives you a nice, some nice real estate to put your hands on, to sort of pull down. For all those who are familiar with the Glock, it's like a really tiny tab. It's hard sometimes to get a good handle on it when you're trying to disassemble that firearm. Again, the more and more you do it, it gets easier, but it shouldn't be so difficult from the start. Nonetheless, I don't know if you heard that, but that is pretty audible, right? And pretty tactile, right, in terms of right. That took almost no effort when you're gonna go to disassemble the weapon. All right, so if we're going up to the slide, and we'll come back to that trigger. So before we leave the frame, in the front, you will have an accessory rail where you can mount most weapon mounted lights. I currently don't have one on there. I don't carry this weapon with a weapon mounted light. This is my daytime firearm, and at night I have a different weapon for my nightside, bedtime, nightside firearm, and it does have a red dot and also a light on it. So again, moving up to the slide, pretty sexy, right? So you'll see it comes with this tungsten gray, and again, when this is in the case beside other firearms, it just stands out, right? It just stands out. It's hard to miss. You do have a match grade barrel hidden underneath of that slide. You have blacked out rear sights, Warren Tactical, and they do give a little serration there. So if you needed to, you know, charge the weapon on the side of some other type of surface, again, it's pretty sturdy. I do like that blacked out rear, and you do have a phosphorus front sight, so it does pick up a little bit of light, but that light will not last very long. And so when those sights drop in, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm not actually pointing the weapon directly at myself. I know some of you guys are saying, "Oh, he's flagging himself." The weapon is here. So just relax. I don't know if you guys can see that. I do. I think the sights on this are pretty decent. Out of 10, I would give the sights an 8 out of 10. Out of those, there's some sights that I really hate, some that are really great, but this one I would give, again, an 8 out of 10 sights. So let's come onto that trigger, and then we'll have range time. So in full disclosure, some of this range time is me, right? And as I grow this station, I'll hopefully be able to get some more cinematographic video of me shooting, but for now it is what it is. But I've also borrowed footage, and I'll give credit to those who have already built the station and have better access to the equipment to give you that range footage. So it'll be a combination of both. So again, when I had the Canik side by side, and I was able to pull this trigger versus the Glock trigger, which was gritty and heavy, the SIG P320 trigger, which was light and crisp, and the reset was great, to be honest with you. I did like the reset of the SIG P320 flat face trigger. But there was something special to say about the trigger on the Canik. Again, it has the red inner shoe. I'm not sure what it's called. They say it's a safety mechanism. You know, I don't see how you could engage the black portion of it and not engage that safety. Nonetheless, the trigger is mostly everything about a gun, right? It's the most important part. Maybe the barrel is really important in terms of accuracy, but the trigger and the barrel go hand in hand, right? And so what you're looking for in a trigger is a trigger that's going to be light, right? When you're talking about weight of the pull, anything over 5 pounds, I would say is too much, unless you're carrying locked and cocked, something that is 9, 19, 11. Right, if you're carrying a CZ locked and cocked, then maybe the trigger is a 6 pound trigger. However, this trigger I've seen online, folks measure it in the 4 pound range, right? And so let's see how this trigger behaves. So you're gonna have, let me hold it this way so we can kind of see it. So you do have see that travel. So you do have a wall, but then you have a little bit of creep. And for what I'm understanding, that creep should go away as we increase usage of the firearm. I'm over 600 or 700 rounds with this, maybe 800. And so I would think that would have been eliminated. So you have some travel, you have a little bit of creep, then you have a wall and a crisp break. Let's see it again. Travel, wall, creep, right? You see that creep? Right there. Break. Oh, I didn't even reset it, sorry. Here we go again, let's see it again. Travel. Creep. See that right there? A little bit creepy. Because here's the wall, right? There's the travel, and then there's the break. Let's look at the reset on that trigger. Here we go. Pretty short, right? I mean, they make some pretty good triggers. Here we go. Let's see it again. Let's see it this way. It's an amazing trigger. Again, the Canik Mete, even better. Even better. I think the Canik Mete trigger is better than the Walther PDP trigger. I said it. I think the Canik Mete trigger is better than the Walther PDP trigger out of the box. And those are two of the best, right? I'm not the first one to say that. That's not new information. But after, I probably have 200 or 300 rounds through the both of them, and I would say that the Mete, the trigger is better. I do like the accuracy and performance out of the PDP. I don't want to get too far off course with that. Both great triggers, but the Canik trigger is an awesome trigger. Alright, let's get into some of that range time. Again, if you're new to the channel, please like, please subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Again, the name of the station, The Ballot and the Bullet. The Ballot and the Bullet. Right here. This man coined that phrase, the ballot or the bullet, right, in 1964. And today it is still relevant, right? However, we need them both, right? We need them both. We need the bullet from a protection standpoint, and that's what you're going to get from a practical sense on this station, right? But then we also need the politics, right? We need the politics portion of it as well. So again, I want to thank you for spending your time to the end of this video, and we'll see you on the next one at the ballot and the bullet. It's your boy. See you later. Beautiful lies. Take my heart, tell me beautiful lies. As you can see, this thing is a straight shooter. It is fun to shoot. It is subcompact, compact, debatable. Definitely fits nice in the hand. Definitely allows you to be mobile with this firearm if you need to. And if you are someone and you have, a decent handle on that firearm, you might be able to reach out and touch somebody at 50, 75 yards. Canik Tp9 SC Elite. We out. And like I said before, I love you and I don't even know you. The ballot and the bullet. We out this mother. Peace.